Welcome back to Cougar Palace on the campus of Western Nebraska Community College. The girls' championship game. It'll be Gering coming in with a record of 10-6 and riding a 5-game winning streak, taking on the Sidney Lady Raiders. They come in with a record of 14-4. Both these teams 2-0 in this Western Conference tournament. Gering got a win over Mitchell Thursday night, and then on Friday they defeated Scotts Bluff 49-39. For Sidney, as we said, they come in at 2-0. They got a win over Alliance Girls Thursday, 57-26, and then they defeated North Platte yesterday, 68-21 was the final score on that one. And these teams have met once before.
You ready to roll? Oh.
We are back once again at Cougar Palace on the campus of Western Nebraska Community College as the girls' championship game about a minute 17 away from getting underway as Gering comes in with a record of 10-6 on the year. They are riding a 5-game winning streak, and Sidney comes in at 14-4. Both these teams 2-0 in this Western Conference tournament. Gering with wins over Mitchell and Scotts Bluff, and Sidney with wins over Alliance and North Platte. First meeting between these two teams went to Sidney by 1 point in Gering. 67-66 was the final score on that one. Chris Cottrell alongside, and we could be looking at a good one here this afternoon. The only question is, how will Gering respond to the depth from Sidney?
Yeah, no doubt about that, Jeff. Really looking forward to this one. A real opportunity for Brittany Macias and this Gering girls team to make a statement today, win a tournament championship during this season, and just continue to build the confidence that's been brewing in this bunch here on the back half of the year. But as mentioned, for Tyler Shaw and the Lady Raiders, just very used to being in this game, in this tournament, playing for a title. And look, a state finalist a year ago in C1, so they are used to these type settings and these type of big games.
Sidney comes in as the number 1 seed, Gering the number 2 seed on this girls' side. So a matchup of 1 and 2 in this girls' championship game. We will give you the starting lineups as Gering is the visitors here in this championship game. They will start this way. It's Aubrey Anderson, a 5'7" sophomore, averaging 8 points and 3 rebounds a game. Mackenzie Todd, a 5'11" senior, averaging 12 and 5. Jacelyn Brown, a 5'5" junior, and 9 and 4 on the year. And J.C. Cochran, a 5'11" sophomore, at 12 and 8. And Kiera Bard, a 5'10" senior. And now here's our, let's take a pause.
Western Conference Basketball Tournament on KNEB.TV is brought to you by Allo, A. Elliott Law, Travis Hawk Shelter Insurance, Dustin White Irrigation, and B&C Steel.
Building that will last for generations. With more than 110 years of experience and thousands of satisfied customers, Morton Buildings is the industry leader you can trust. If you're planning for a garage, farm shop, horse barn, storage building for your RV, boat, or collectibles, there's no better time to buy. Contact your local Morton sales office or visit mortonbuildings.com to get started today.
Jeff Kelly, Chris Cottrell back with you here from Cougar Palace as we have given you the starting lineup for Gering and for Alliance. They will start this way. It'll be Kiara Schrader, a 5'10 junior. Carly Black, a 5'6 senior. Ryan Dillahay, a 5'6 senior. Kayla Westby, a 5'7 senior. And Lily Weiser, a 5'11 junior. Gering will be the road team here in this championship game. They are in the gray uniforms for the Gering Bulldogs this afternoon. And Sidney will be the home team in the home white uniforms. One thing, Jacelyn Brown yesterday held scoreless against Scottsbluff. It was the second time against Scottsbluff that she was held scoreless, but she's always come back with big games following those two games where she was shut out. So we'll see if she can get things back on track here against a very tough Sidney team.
I am curious, Jeff. Gering has had some very good game plans for Scottsbluff in the last week. How are they game planning specifically for Sidney today? But if Gering values the basketball, they've been running pretty good offensive stuff here of late. So value the basketball and then continue to really work and play great defense. And those two things, a recipe to keep you in the game and have a shot in the fourth quarter. But Sidney just always a bunch of tough customers in these big games.
Yeah, they have had a lot of experience in these big games. And as we said, they will go 10 or 11 deep as Tyler Shaw will put his starting five in. They'll be in there for about 3 minutes. Then we'll have 5 more come in, and they'll play about 3 minutes, and then they'll bring in another 5 as our opening tip, brought to you by Papa Murphy's Pizza. At Papa Murphy's, heat things up this Valentine's Day with the Heartbreaker Pizza. And right now, get our signature pepperoni or cheese pizza in the shape of a heart for $11. Order online today. Gering with the ball. Todd into the paint, gives it up to J.C. Cochran for 3. That won't fall. There's Kiera Bard with the offensive rebound and putback. And Bard, who had 13 yesterday, gets Gering on the board first. Pressure from Gering, stolen away by Mackenzie Todd. 3 ball on the way. That misses everything. Kayla Westby at the Alliance end. She'll give it up to Kiera Schrader into the corner for a 3. That's an air ball from Carly Black. But there's Ryan Dillahay, and Dillahay picks up the loose ball and puts it back up and in. And that ties us at 2 here in this first quarter. Pressure from Sidney. Jacelyn Brown into the front court. Gering from right to left. Left side pass, Mackenzie Todd. She drives left side. Shot doesn't go, but it'll stay at the Gering end. Sidney in the home white uniforms here this afternoon. Bounce pass entry down low to Bard. Her turnaround doesn't fall. And Alliance comes away with it. Ryan Dillahay, long down court pass. She was looking for Lily Weiser, and she overthrows her, and that'll give it right back to Gering. Ryan Dillahay went out with a little bit of an injury in yesterday's game, but came back in late in that contest, and she's in the starting lineup for Sidney this afternoon. Foul on the inbound, and Schrader picks up her first personal foul. Ball knocked away on the inbounds from Bard, and traveling as Kiera Schrader loses her footing. And officials are going to look at the floor down at that end. As she just lost her footing. Once again, pressure from Sidney. Jacelyn Brown on the dribble, brings it across against Kayla Westby. Double team. She'll give it up to Mackenzie Todd. Jacelyn, high post pass. J.C. Cochran down low. J.C. shot blocked from behind. Kiera Schrader comes the other way. She'll drive right side against Jacelyn Brown. And we're going to have a blocking foul on Gering's Jacelyn Brown. As she tried to take the charge. The basket was good by Schrader.
Another thing, Jeff, that stands out, even in the 10-point win yesterday, Gering had well over 20 turnovers, and they're going to face full court pressure, so not going to be able to get away with that high amount of turnovers today against Sidney.
Schrader completes the three-point play, and the Lady Raiders have it by 3. Kenzie Todd will bring it across. Ball knocked away in the backcourt. Carly Black got a hand in there. Kenzie has to run it down the near sideline, and then McKenzie just loses the handle that time. But some good pressure defense by Sidney's Carly Black forces the turnover. Kenzie pleading her case to one of the officials. The turnover gives it to Sidney. 5:52 left, 5-2 Sidney. Driving baseline, Black dumps it down low. They find Kayla Westby, and Westby puts it up and in. 7-2 Sidney. Jacelyn brings it across against Kayla Westby. Look down low, find JC Cochran. JC double team, now triple team. She'll find Kiera Bard, and Bard fouled on the shot. And that'll put Kiera Bard at the free throw line. Her game's improved since the opening game against Alliance, where she fouled out of that one.
And Jeff, here comes the line change for Sidney, and this is where the chaos ensues. They can continue to keep the full court pressure on. They'll run waves and waves, bodies after bodies at Gering all day long. And we know Gering's going to play 7 deep, so tested conditioning. About to be a real battle here for Gering.
Bard perfect from the free throw line. That cuts the Alliance lead to 3, and Alliance turns it over. Brown looks left side. Cochran, Aubrey Anderson back out on top. Jacelyn with it. They try to whip a pass inside for Bard, and Zoe Christensen in the way of that pass, and Alliance will come the other way. Jordan Schnell with it. Here's Weinbender, and driving to the basket. The shot by Reagan Nesbitt doesn't go. Schnell with the offensive rebounder. Putback won't fall, and Gering comes the other way. Cochran ahead to Mackenzie Todd, back to JC. Out on top, Jacelyn with it. Aubrey Anderson has it ripped away from her by Weinbender. Another Gering turnover. Alliance with it. Schnell, right side. Nothing doing there. They'll find Nesbitt. Weinbender with it. Out on top, it's Missigatis. Working the ball around the outside of the arc. Here's Schnell. They'll kick it out. Driving Zoe Christensen. And Christensen turns the ball over.
3 in the key, I think, maybe.
Okay. 30-second timeout taken by Gering. So we will keep it right here from Cougar Palace. Stay with us at halftime. We'll get some comments from Gering boys head coach Trey Winkler following their third place win over Alliance. Following this game, we've got the boys championship game. It should be a good one as Scottsbluff and Sidney will match up.
I visited with Austin Lewis, the Sidney boys head coach, for just a few moments after the conclusion of our last game, and I said, well, do you have a good plan? He said, I don't know, they're really good. So you know Sidney's going to play as hard as anybody can against Scottsbluff. The effort's going to be there. Will they have enough offensive production over 4 quarters?
Out of the timeout, Gering will inbound it against pressure from Sidney as Brown gets it ahead. Aubrey Anderson, and Anderson fouled. That'll be on Ashlyn Weinbender.
Weinbender and Nesbitt have been pretty impressive here the first couple of days of this tournament on the second line, if you will, for Sidney coming in.
Toss in lob comes to J.C. Cochran. Work it out on top, back to Jacelyn Brown. Jacelyn has her pass tipped in the air, but Cochran right there to pick it up. JC at the free throw line. Into the corner, Jacelyn Brown, look inside, Kiera Bard. Bard puts up the shot over Nesbitt. Christensen. And once again, Kiera Bard at the free throw line. She's got all of the Gering points here in this first quarter.
That's another thing about the depth of Sidney. They rarely would ever find themselves in foul trouble as a team. Individuals, sure, but they're always going to have quality on the court.
7-6. Sidney by 1. Pressure from Gering. Ball knocked away by Aubrey Anderson. They're going to give the ball to Sidney. Sidney will inbound it. Jordan Schnell will bounce it baseline. They look inside. They find Reagan Nesbitt, who spins to the basket. Her shot rolls off. And we've got a foul. And that will put Reagan Nesbitt at the free throw line. Nesbitt to shoot 2. And the foul on Aubrey Anderson. That'll be her first, team second. And now the line change for Sidney as the first team comes back in. One more for Reagan Nesbitt, the 5'11 sophomore. That one falls through. 8-6. Sidney by 2. Gering set to inbound. Now the pressure from Sidney drops back. Jason Brown picked up by Kayla Westby. Aubrey Anderson drives left side, has it knocked away. It's loose on the floor. They get it inside to Bard. Her shot doesn't go. Aubrey Anderson will kick it out to Cochran. JC with the 15-foot jumper. That doesn't fall. Rebound tipped around. Carly Black has to pull in an errant pass. She'll get it ahead to Kayla Westby. Ryan Dillahay driving, picks up her dribble. She'll get it back outside to Westby. Carly Black drives down the lane to the basket, high off the glass, doesn't go. Kenzie Todd comes out there with the rebound for Gering. Gets it ahead. Aubrey Anderson with it. She picks up her dribble. Back to Todd. Here's Jason Brown with it. Holds the ball above her head. High post to Cochran. Cochran picked up there by Weiser. Looks baseline, trying to go for Kiera Bard. Pass knocked away. Black gets it ahead to Westby, who fumbled it. Right in the hands of Jason Brown. Gering comes the other way. Long down court pass. Aubrey Anderson. Back to JC. Skip pass. Mackenzie Todd drives right side. The runner won't fall off the glass. There's Kiera Bard. Offensive board. Put back doesn't go. Sidney comes the other way. Dillahay on the run. Travels with the ball. She took an extra step there.
6 turnovers committed by Sidney. Gering's given it away 5 times, so some early nerves, it would appear, for both teams.
Someone asked me yesterday when was the last time that Gering made it to the Western Conference Championship game, and I'm really not able to come up with that answer. 7-6, Sidney by a point. High point to Cochran, hands off to Jason Brown, drives baseline, kicks it out. Finds Mackenzie Todd. Aubrey Anderson drives baseline, cut off there by Dillahay. To Ivy Bruckner, who's checked into the Gering lineup, and Ivy Bruckner off the Gering bench. Makes it 8-7 on the scoreboard. Minute 22 left in the first quarter. Kayla Westby with a 3. That won't fall. Taylor Springer down with the rebound. Springer handles out front. Into the corner, Carly Black. And a traveling call on Carly Black. So Gering takes their first lead of the game. Camry Lopez checks into the Gering lineup for Mackenzie Todd.
Now some non-line change substitutions here for Sidney. Tyler Shaw maybe wants to tighten it up a little bit.
Gering taking their first lead of the game. Here's Camry Lopez, and she travels with the ball. So back-to-back turnovers, one by each team. We'll give it back to Sidney. 55 seconds left here in the first quarter. They get it ahead to Ryan Dillahay. Dillahay against Brown, drives all the way to the basket. Her layup won't fall, comes up a little bit short, and Gering will have it. Jacelyn Brown into the front court, gets it to Aubrey Anderson, right side. Anderson puts it on the deck to Camry Lopez. Lopez trying with the jump pass. Sidney got in the way of that one. Jordan Schnell on the run out, too strong off the glass. Rebound tipped around into the hands of Jacelyn Brown. 23 seconds left. Shot clock dark. Gering with the ball, but they lose it very quickly. Ball still loose on the floor. Picked up by Westby. Sidney will come the other way. Westby, spin move in the paint. Kick out. Ryan Dillahay for three. That's too strong. Schnell with the rebound, looks down low. She finds Reagan Nesbitt, who puts it up and in. And Sidney takes the lead back as we end the first quarter. At the end of one, it's Sidney 9 and Gering 8 on the West Coast scoreboard.
Live Western Conference Basketball Tournament on KNEB.TV is brought to you by Wesco, Papa Murphy's, Team Auto Center, Riverstone Bank, and Advantage Chiropractic.
By Anderson a great investment? You're darn right they are. Did you know that for less than your cable bill or cell phone bill each month, you could have new windows from Renewal by Anderson right now? Do the math. Renewal by Anderson windows will likely cut your energy bills significantly. They will likely substantially increase the value of your home. They're a great investment. Please contact our team now and ask about our fantastic financing options with approved credit right now. Renewal by Anderson, a great investment?
To 7, I know that's not right. Two lead changes to end the first quarter, and the second one gives Sidney a 1-point lead as we go to the second quarter, and a little bit sloppy in that first quarter by both teams.
Yeah, combined 15 turnovers, Gering with 8, Sidney with 7. Sidney missing a lot of close-range shots in and around the basket, and they will continue to switch things up here, mixing some of their lines, if you will, hockey style, but going with Tyler Shaw, who he thinks is going to give him the best chance right now.
Westby with a deep 3 ball, that's in and out, but Reagan Nesbitt with the offensive board and the putback.
And a walk right near midcourt. Bruckner just not used to having the ball in that spot on the floor, and turned and just did not know what to do with it, didn't stay composed and walk with it.
Bruckner and Camry Lopez, usually a couple of players that come off the bench, but Cochran and Aubrey Anderson getting a rest on the Gering bench. Carly Black for a 3 ball, that's an air ball. Bard with the rebound. She's hassled down low, and they'll get it on the outlet pass to Jacelyn Brown. Jason quickly up the floor, usually very sturdy with the dribble, but Black knocks it away. She'll drive, put up the runner that doesn't go, and then Westby fouled on the putback.
Gering barely able to get the ball across midcourt here in the first 43 seconds of the second quarter. A couple of turnovers already, has him at 10 for the game.
Bard with her first personal foul.
Nesbitt's going to be key for Sidney today. Gives him a big body down low to hit the glass to contest some of these real good rebounders for Gering, I think, also.
Substitution as J.C. Cochran back in the Gering lineup, I think, to battle with Nesbitt down low.
Nesbitt gets a hand on that inbounds pass and deflects it away. And this is what Gering's going to have to contend with start to finish today.
One more time, Gering will inbound and gets full court pressure from Sidney. Comes into Aubrey Anderson in the backcourt. She's hounded by Weinbender. Camry Lopez will have to bring it across. Picked up by Westby, and we'll have a 10-second call on Gering. And the Bulldogs having a little bit of trouble handling this Sidney pressure. They've got Jason Brown on the bench, usually their top ball handler. Sidney on the inbound. Black, ball knocked away from Westby by Mackenzie Todd, and Mackenzie on the run out gets her first 2 points of the game. Gering within 2, long down court pass. That goes over the head of Nesbitt. She saves it from going out of bounds to Anderson. Anderson gets it ahead. Mackenzie Todd drives, and she'll draw the foul on the drive to the basket. And that foul on Jordan Schnell. And that'll put Mackenzie Todd at the free throw line. Mackenzie with 24 points in the first meeting between these two teams. It was a 1-point Gering loss. First one off the mark. Kara Schrader checking back in for Sidney along with Ryan Dillahay. Kenzie Todd's second one, that's off the back iron. And Sidney will have it, leading by 2. Dillahay into the front court. She'll hand it to Schrader. Schrader high post, Nesbitt. Back to Carly Black. Black with it right side. She drives, puts up an off-balance shot. Black draws the foul. And that'll be on Kiera Bard. She picks up 2 here in this second quarter, as Carly Black will step to the free throw line. First one follows through as she gets the shooter's roll.
Black led Sidney yesterday with 12 in the blowout win.
Second one won't fall, but Bard can't corral the rebound and keep it at the Sidney end. 6:29 left in the first half. Sidney by 3. Dillahay to trigger it in. Looking, they have to toss out on top. There's Nesbitt with it. Right side pass, 3 ball on the way. That one off the mark by Zoe Christensen. The putback won't fall.
Nesbitt again on the glass offensively, doing some damage on that end, rebounding the basketball.
And a foul on the rebound by Camry Lopez. That'll be her first, and Reagan Nesbitt at the free throw line. First one in and out. 3 team fouls on Gering here in this second quarter. Sidney with only 1. Second one by Nesbitt. That one doesn't fall through, but somebody stepped into the lane just a little bit too soon. And that will give the ball back to Gering. Once again, Sidney establishing full court pressure. Mackenzie Todd looking. She'll get it into J.C. Cochran, and she'll get it right back. Has it knocked away. And the ball will stay with Gering, and that will bring Jacelyn Brown back into the Gering lineup. Inbound comes to Jacelyn. Goes into the corner to Kiera Bard. Back to Mackenzie Todd as they work it out on top. Back to Brown, high post to Bard. Look baseline, then she'll hand it to Jacelyn Brown. Jacelyn trapped along the baseline. J.C. Cochran there. Here's Aubrey Anderson. Cut off, she'll give it up to J.C. Cochran. There's shot in and out, doesn't go, and there's Jacelyn Brown with the offensive rebound and putback for her first 2 points of the game. Sidney by 1, 13-12. Black starting a drive, and we'll have a foul on, I believe, Aubrey Anderson at the Gering end.
4th team foul. We've still got 5:35 to play in this second quarter, so Gering in danger of, having Sidney in a position to get a lot of free throw attempts before halftime.
Kiera Bard checks out of the Gering lineup with those 2 personal fouls. Ivy Bruckner back in. Sidney on the inbound. They give it to Kayla Westby. She drives the basket. Shot doesn't go. And Gering will come the other way. Brown ahead to Mackenzie Todd. Into the corner. J.C. Cochran for three. That doesn't fall. Schrader on the rebound, has it knocked out of her hands, but it'll stay with Sidney.
Scoreboard has that as the third foul on Bard.
Okay. Ball knocked out of bounds.
So that's a huge foul.
That is. All of those have come in the second quarter. Token pressure from Gering. Jordan Schnell with it, picks up her dribble. Dillahay, and we've got an official's whistle stopping play. So we'll do it one more time. Schrader inbounds to Schnell in the backcourt. Schrader on the runner by Dillahay, doesn't fall. J.C. Cochran down with the rebound for Gering. Jacelyn into the front court, her pass tipped in the air, but Aubrey Anderson there. She'll hand it to Jacelyn. Jacelyn on the dribble, right side. She'll bounce baseline. J.C. Cochran driving to the basket. Cochran fouled on the shot attempt. She'll go to the line to shoot two. That'll be two on Sidney's Zoe Christensen, as J.C. Cochran 69% coming into this Western Conference tournament from the free throw line. First one off the mark. Lily Weiser checking in for Sidney. One more for J.C. Cochran. That one rolls off, won't go. So Westby comes out of there with the rebound. Ahead to Jordan Schnell. Schnell driving, the shot off the glass, won't fall. Battle for the rebound. Jacelyn Brown comes out of there with it for Gering. 13-12. Sidney by a point. As Brown throws the ball away. I think that pass was intended for Ivy Bruckner. So another Gering turnover. And what's been a little bit of a sloppy first half to this point. Carly Black in on the Sidney side.
The substitution patterns for Coach Sean Sidney show the importance of this game and how he thinks this one's going to play out.
They almost throw it away there, but the ball goes in the hands of Dillahay, and Dillahay fouled by Mackenzie Todd, 18 feet away from the basket. And that will put Dillahay at the free throw line, as that's the 15th foul on Gering. Dillahay with 7 points yesterday. Drains the first one. Largest lead in this first half has been 4 points. Second free throw off. A battle on the rebound. Held ball will give it to Gering. 4:09 left her in this first half. 14-12 in a low scoring first half from both these teams. Bruckner on the inbound, gets back to Todd against Sidney pressure. Todd against Carly Black up the floor, loses the handle in the backcourt, and a timeout called by Brittany Macias. It will be a full timeout. 14-12 Sidney on the West Coast scoreboard.
25 Western Conference Basketball Tournament on KNEB.TV is brought to you by Legacy Co-op, Bunkhouse Trailer Sales, WNCC, Russell's Automotive, and Reds.
Life is crazy. Pain Training is stressful. How can anybody concentrate with these busy schedules? Now you can. This is Ben Moravec coming to you from Hydrozen, a float therapy business right here in Scottsbluff. I'm here today to let you know we now have memberships for $49 monthly. You can guarantee yourself at least one float per month. You know how floating keeps your muscles relaxed, your joints relieved, and your brain clear to think? Now you can float at a reduced rate each month. Inquire today at hydrozenfloat.com or call us at 308-63-FLOAT. Hydrozen. Unplug and reach.
Welcome back to Cougar Palace. Out of the Gering timeout, 14-12 Sidney. And you made the comment as we went into the break, how can there be a timeout called when the ball was loose on the floor?
Yeah, I thought that was interesting, but Gering catches a little bit of a break as they were near a 10-second violation.
Out of the timeout, Gering with it. They'll give it to Jason Brown. She'll come center court, reset the offense for Gering. 10 seconds left on the shot. Now 9, now 7. Jason with it. They'll get it to J.C. Cochran for a jumper inside the arc, and J.C. Cochran gets her first points of the game. And that ties us at 14 apiece. Shot at the Sidney end. Off the offensive rebound, Jordan Schnell puts it back up and in. And Sidney takes the lead back at 16-14, our third lead change here in this first half. Brown out front, one-hand pass, low post. J.C. Cochran picks up her dribble, has it stolen away by Carly Black. Black up the floor, bounces down low, finds Jordan Schnell, and Schnell lays it up and in. And a quick 4-0 run.
Yeah, and 4-0 runs in this game feel big.
As Gering throws the ball away as Jason Brown looking baseline and overthrows Aubrey Anderson. Ashlyn Weinbender checking in for Sidney.
Gering pacing for around 30 turnovers, but Sidney's missed so many close range shots. That's kind of evened things out a little bit.
Schnell brings it across for Sidney to the free throw line. She'll bounce to Weinbender right side. Out on top, back to Dillahay, to Black. Inside to Lily Weiser on the give and go. Black can't convert on the layup. Gering comes away with the rebound ahead. Kenzie Todd, she's going to stop, take the three. That won't fall. Rebound run down by J.C. Cochran. Back to Ivy Bruckner. Bruckner drives, puts up the shot, and it falls through for Ivy Bruckner. Sidney by 2. Pressure from Gering. In the backcourt, Carly Black with it. They get it ahead. Lily Weiser against Cochran. Loses the handle down low. Ball's loose, and it's going to go out of bounds. And it will be Gering ball as Kiera Schrader, Kayla Westby, and Reagan Nesbitt back into the game. Minute 53 left here in the first half. 18-16, Sidney by 2.
Weiser had no idea she was that wide open with no Gering defender behind her.
Press broken by Gering as Anderson driving to the basket.
Weinbender on a body shove.
Foul is on number 4, Ashlyn Weinbender, her second.
It'll be the second on her. Weinbender will check out. Ryan Dillahay back into the Sidney lineup. Baseline toss in for Gering. They lob it to Ivy Bruckner. Bruckner loses the handle but regains. Now the ball's loose on the floor, and we will keep it at the Gering end. So we'll do it one more time from the baseline. Mackenzie Todd out to Jacelyn Brown. Jacelyn against Westby. Looks for Bruckner, overthrows her, and there's Reagan Nesbitt to pick up the errant pass. Nesbitt drives right side, off the glass and in. Nesbitt goes coast to coast, and Sidney now leads it by 4.
To me, Nesbitt's one of the best players on this Sidney team.
Jason Brown looks high post. Nesbitt, as you just said, intercepted that pass. They'll give it up to Schrader, and Schrader drives and scores, and Gering's got to take a little bit better care of the ball as they have given up 4 quick points on errant passes.
17, check that, 15 turnovers. Carry.
And a carry on Jacelyn Brown.
Into the game for Gering.
Rylan Misigatis checks back into the Sidney lineup, and Camry Lopez checking in on the Gering side.
Gering could almost use just a timeout here, even for the final minute, to catch their breath.
As we go underneath a minute, here's Dillahay. 3 ball by Weinbender, high off the glass. Black tried to corral it, saves him going out of bounds. Misigatis has it knocked away, and then Brown ties it up with Westby. Possession arrow pointing Sidney's way. And the Raiders will have it with 43 seconds left here in the first half. Underneath their own basket, Dillahay gets it out to Westby. Top of the key, Black for 3. Won't fall. Rebound tipped out of there. And we've got a whistle and a foul. And that foul on Kayla Westby. It'll be Gering's ball with 36 seconds left. The inbound knocked away by Dillahay. We'll do it one more time as Sidney sets up full court pressure. Todd looking, finds J.C. Cochran. She'll give it right back to McKenzie. Cochran brings it across, tries to avoid the double team. Here's McKenzie with it. McKenzie drives into the paint, the runner, it won't fall. Nesbitt down with the rebound. Misigatis with it with 18 seconds left. She tries to bounce down low, saves him going out of bounds. Gering with it. Mackenzie Todd into the paint, to the basket, comes up short. Battle for the rebound. Dillahay comes out of there with it, gets it ahead. Misigatis drives and scores. Rylan Misigatis scores it at the buzzer, and at halftime, Sidney on top, 24-16. Here at halftime, Sidney in control on the West Coast scoreboard.
Coverage of the 2025 Western Conference Basketball Tournament on KNEB.TV is brought to you by Consumers Cooperative Federal Credit Union, Western Nebraska Regional Airport, Regional West, and Pipeworks Plumbing.
Changing leaf colors means yard work. Your friends at Tri-City Stormwater wants to remind you of the proper way to dispose of fallen leaves. Leaves make great mulch for trees and bushes and compost for future gardens. The city also has yard waste bins, so they can dispose of all your leaves at the city compost facility. Always keep your leaves out of the gutters. Not only do they cause clogging and flooding, they can pollute our waterways by causing nutrient overload. So keep your yard looking good and your drinking water safe, because it's our water, our responsibility.
Fly United Airlines, operated by SkyWest with Western Nebraska Regional Airport. United is dedicated to going the extra mile for you with daily flights to and from Denver, along with a commitment to excellent service. Reserve your flight today, and remember, United miles can be earned and redeemed with your flights. While at the airport, stop and enjoy authentic Italian food at Roma Italian Restaurant. Plus, Hertz Thrifty Car Rental is there for your car rental needs. Make life easier, relax, and get on board with Western Nebraska Regional Airport.
but it had us up to.
Yes.
At halftime with boys head coach Trey Winkler following their third place finish here at the Western Conference Tournament as they come away with a 63-49 win. And one place to start is talk about that third quarter where you jumped out on them with an 11-0 run and really, I think, kind of took control in that third quarter.
Yeah, I think just making some adjustments at halftime and just continuing to give them confidence. They were confident going into halftime, knowing that we were down one, but a couple things weren't falling for us, but we were playing hard defense. So we just keep that up, throw a couple things at them, and switch some things up here and there to throw them off. And came out, we got on a roll. Guys started hitting shots, and so it was good.
Now, talking about hitting shots, 9 threes between the two teams in that first quarter. Seemed like nobody was able to miss in that first quarter on either side from beyond the arc.
I know, it's good for us when our threes are falling, but we need to keep, and what we ended up doing in the third quarter is when we attacked the basket and we started finishing around the basket, we started, because we were getting stops, we just needed those easy buckets. When we do that, we are a good team, but sometimes we settle too much for the three ball.
Coach, we talked after the game briefly, and you said, yeah, we look good against the teams where they're 50-50 matchups, that type of game, but maybe the belief isn't there when you play some of the heavier weight type teams. How do you get them over that hump? Because individually, you have a lot of good talent and a lot of good individual pieces. Where does that belief happen, and how do they gain that?
We talk about this a lot, but a lot of their confidence and belief comes from themselves. Like the work they put in practice, the reps we're doing, the skill work we're doing. They need to continue to do that and just start to believe in themselves, knowing they are good basketball players. Like I said, the games that we know that we have a chance of winning, we're confident, we play confident, we don't get our heads down when we make mistakes. But those games where sometimes we're not favored, we struggle to believe in ourselves a little bit. But I think, we talked about yesterday when we played Scottsbluff, we're from the same area. We put our shoes on the same way. We eat the same places. Like, there's nothing that's that much crazy difference. So it's just believing in ourselves, believing in each other, and just doing what we do.
Jack Mazer had really back-to-back days here at the Palace that he'll remember for quite a long time. And I want to focus on Rylan Ray, just a sophomore, great outside shooting touch. But to me, even more of a load when he's working around the basket. I mean, sky's the limit for this guy.
Oh, yeah. His shot's starting to look better. He's finishing around the basket. He's just continuing to grow into his body as a sophomore only, hitting the weight room this offseason, getting strong. I mean, sky's the limit for him. He's got a high ceiling.
You mentioned the weight room. One thing that stood out when I watched Sidney play Alliance yesterday, just the absolute strength and upper body, lower body, just the physical strength that Sidney brings to the table. That goes to your point about basketball is also a weight room sport.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a physical sport. And even when I was in high school, I didn't invest in it as much as I should have. And then you get into college, the higher level, and you realize that it's a contact sport, and you got to be able to handle it, and you got to be physical. And then, in high school, the teams that do that and hit the weight room are usually the good teams when you look at Scottsbluff and Sidney.
All right, final one for you, Trey. This is a little bit different environment for teams to come into and try and shoot in. What have you told your team about playing here at the Palace? You played here in your high school career. Is there something that's different, and what did you tell your team?
Nothing really different for them to focus on. Just like I said and continue to say, just believing in themselves, believing in their shot, believing in their game, and then trusting each other. And then, it is a bigger court, so we try to call a couple timeouts early just to give them a break a little bit. But they fought hard for 3 days straight, and it was tough to come out here and get this win like that. So it was good for us.
I've got a little bit of a Bulldog shout out here on the coaching side. I get a text from Steve Land this morning checking in, said him and Coach Plummer were taking the 7th and 8th graders to North Platte.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought to myself, these two basketball lifers still out here grinding with the young kids at Gering High.
It's good, too, for those young guys to get coached by those guys. They're good coaches. They're hard-nosed, so it's good for them.
I told Steve on the text back, I said those 7th and 8th graders don't have any idea how lucky they are to have Randy Plummer and Steve Land teaching them the game at that age.
Yep, exactly. It's good for us.
Trey Winkler, head coach for the Gering boys. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Congratulations on the third place.
Thank you.
We'll come back with more right after this.
Coverage of the 2025 Western Conference Basketball Tournament on KNEB.TV is brought to you by Allo. A. Elliott Law, Travis Hawk Shelter Insurance, Dustin White Irrigation, and B&C Steel. Covered.
Family reunion, holiday office party, or business meeting? Well, look no further. The Hampton Inn and Suites Hotel and Conference Center is just the place for you. We're a full-service banquet facility that can host up to 400 of your guests. Stop in and see our spacious open-concept meeting rooms and begin planning your special event or family gathering today. Let us do the work for you so you can enjoy your guests. For personal service, stop by the Hampton Inn and Suites front desk.
Tired of feeling stuck? Not sure if you are on the right track? Platte Valley Bank can help keep your finances moving forward with checking account options to fit your lifestyle and an online account chooser to make finding the right account easy. Control your financial future with helpful budgeting tools and automatic savings plans. Now is the time to enjoy the ride with Platte Valley Bank. You belong here. Looking for free instead of fees? Platte Valley Bank can help you keep your finances moving forward with no ATM fees. Whether you're headed to the lake, the mountains, or just to the grocery store, you can enjoy the freedom of free ATM access anywhere, anytime. Platte Valley Bank. You belong here.
Welcome back to Cougar Palace here on the campus of Western Nebraska Community College. Girls Championship game. And Sidney with a 6-0 run to end the second quarter. And they now lead it 24-16. I think it's going to be important for Gering not to fall behind any farther as we start this third quarter.
Yeah, you're reading my mind, Jeff. I was going to say a Gering surge feels almost must-have right now before they've caught their wind at the halftime break, so you can kind of catch them on an even playing field in terms of conditioning and how they're feeling out there right now, and they need to cut into this 8-point deficit before some of that depth takes over for the Lady Raiders.
And really the third quarter in a lot of games this season has been Gering's best quarter, and they will have it to start this third quarter. It's Mackenzie Todd, Jacelyn Brown, J.C. Cochran, Aubrey Anderson, and Kiera Bard for Gering. And it's Black along with Westby, Dillahay, Weiser, and Schrader for Sidney. Jacelyn Brown, left side, drives, puts up the shot that doesn't go, saves it from going out of bounds. They get it down low to Kiera Bard, who puts it up and in, and Kiera is
okay, that didn't really even
foul and left the floor is when Sidney kind of make that late run in that first quarter, and Tyler Shaw wasting no time getting Reagan Nesbitt into the game here in this third quarter.
Putting her in there to do some work down low against Bard and J.C. Cochran. Kiera Bard with 13 points yesterday. Can't complete the three-point play. Rebound tipped around. J.C. Cochran can't find the handle as it goes out of bounds. And it will be Sidney ball.
Had Gering with 16 turnovers at the break, and Sidney had turned it over 11 times.
Here's Sidney's first opportunity in this third quarter. Westby goes in the corner to Nesbitt. Cross-court pass. Carly Black drives into the paint. The kick out. Dillahay for three, and she rattles it home. Dillahay now with 6. And that puts the Raiders up by 9. Just underway here in this third quarter. Jacelyn Brown down the left lane line. Turns around, puts up the shot. Couldn't find anybody to pass it to. Bard comes out of there with the rebound. She'll fire it back to Jacelyn. Out on top, back to JC. She gets it inside to Bard. Her shot doesn't go. Doesn't draw the foul. Here comes Ryan Dillahay. Quickly up the floor for Sidney. Stops just across the 10-second line. Carly Black with it. Looks baseline. Lily Weiser there. Back to Dillahay to the free throw line. Weiser tries to get it back to Dillahay. Pass goes off her hands. Anderson picks up the loose ball. Bard picks it up, but it's stolen away by Westby. Westby drives, can't score it, as Anderson saves from going out of bounds right to Nesbitt. Dillahay with it. Cross court Westby, deep three. That one falls off. There's Nesbitt all alone, and Nesbitt puts it back up and in. And now it's an 11-point Sidney lead.
Nesbitt's got 9, and also, Jeff, very heady player. Stays under control, doesn't try to force certain type passes, and gets it to the right ball handler.
Aubrey Anderson into the corner to Brown, down low to Cochran, double team. She'll kick it back out to Jason. Looks down low, finds Aubrey Anderson, and Anderson fouled down low by Dillahay. And for Ryan Dillahay, that'll bring Zoe Christensen into the game. Dillahay, her first, team second.
Into the Lady Raiders, Kayla Westby.
Kenzie Todd, the triggered in. Out of bounds pass, tipped in the air.
Came back to Todd, I think it was on the baseline.
Yep, she was standing out of bounds right there.
18th turnover.
And Tyler Shaw's completely gone away from his substitution pattern of 5 in, 5 out.
Yeah, like I said in the first half, I think that just shows the importance of this one and the respect he has for Gering, knowing it's going to be a tight game and he's going to need his absolute best on the floor.
At the Sidney end, Westby to Zoe Christensen. Cross-court pass, Carly Black. Black into the paint, puts it up with the right hand, doesn't go. There's Nesbitt to keep it alive, and Carly Black fouled on her baseline jump shot. And as you said, I think that shows the value of Reagan Nesbitt as she's brought in early and she's cleaning up things on the boards for Sidney here in this third quarter.
Yeah, couldn't be more impressed with what we've seen from Nesbitt here at the college the last 3 days.
Foul was on J.C. Cochran. That'll be her first. First team on Gering. Black gets one more free throw. That one falls through. Black with 2 in the game. Pressure once again from Sidney. Jason Brown gets it ahead. Mackenzie Todd bounces down low. Bard drives to the basket and lays it up and in. Nice pass from Mackenzie Todd to Bard, and the Sidney lead is now 10. Carly Black out front on the dribble against Anderson. The spin move finds Reagan Nesbitt down low. And Nesbitt with another basket. And a whistle. And we'll have a
Nesbitt finished with the left hand there, but that was all Carly Black on the drive to help defense and just wide open for the easy finish.
Pressure from Sidney. Here's Bard with it. She'll give it up to Todd. Todd will bring it across against Carly Black. Up the left side. Now she pulls it out beyond the arc. Finds Jacelyn Brown. Jacelyn, high post to Cochran. Back to Mackenzie Todd. Mackenzie into the paint. The shot doesn't go. There's Kiera Bard. Her putback too strong. Nesbitt with the outlet. That's knocked away. Mackenzie Todd with it. Out to Jacelyn Brown for 3. That won't fall. Rebound is Todd, and Bard go to the floor for Gering, and we've got a whistle and a foul.
If that's Bard, it's her 4th. It is.
Wow.
Foul on number 44, Kiera Bard, her 4th. Gering
And
second.
that's big for Gering, as very quickly Ivy Bruckner off the Gering bench, and that will bring Camry Lopez into the Gering lineup. Jordan Schnell in for Sidney. Sidney with it, and a 12-point advantage here in this third quarter. Out on top, Weinbender with it to Schnell in the right corner. Schrader with a jumper that doesn't fall. There's Cochran with the rebound for Gering. Brown, long down court pass. Camry Lopez, and blocked from behind by Weinbender.
Kayla Westby.
And that'll keep it at the Gering end. Kayla Westby back into the Sidney lineup. Baseline toss in for Gering. They get it to Bruckner. Ivy is fouled by Schrader.
Her fourth.
Foul on number 12, Kiara Schrader.
One player, Coach Shaw, won't go very long without on the floor, and that's going to be Kayla Westby.
And just as you say that, Schrader comes out with her fourth foul. On the inbounds, pass goes through the hands of J.C. Cochran, but she picks it back up to Camry Lopez with a quick trigger that doesn't go. And on the putback, Ivy Bruckner fouled.
Fouls on number 32.
And that's on
Zoe Christensen.
Zoe Christensen. That'll be her third.
Sidney's fifth.
As Ivy Bruckner steps to the free throw line.
Thinking further down the line this year, Jeff, to the sub-district tournament, just like if you're thinking Scottsbluff and Gering, with where they're at right now in Class B power points, you have to win the sub.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
To do that, you're going to have to go win at Sidney, and that's just going to be such a tall order.
As I looked at it today, I think Gering was 16 in power points and Scottsbluff was 17.
Into the Lady Raiders, Reagan Nesbitt.
Bruckner hits both free throws. And we're back to a 10-point game, 32-22. Sidney on top. Dillahay, the right side to Nesbitt, drops it down low for Westby. And Westby fouled on the shot. And Kayla Westby will go to the free throw line, and the foul on Mackenzie Todd.
Nesbitt, Black, Westby, Dillahay. To me, that looks like Sidney's top four. And then you could make a case for, a handful of others, but that four really stands out to me as need to be on the floor at crunch time for Coach Shaw.
Nesbitt doing all the work down low against Cochran and Bard. Second free throw off the mark. Jacelyn Brown scrapping in there to get the rebound. She gets it ahead to Camry Lopez. Lopez trapped along the sideline, tries to hand it to Mackenzie Todd. And the official says Gering touched it last. Brittany Macias not agreeing with that call, but it will go to Sidney. 3:24 left here in this third quarter. Jordan Schnell with it. Finds Dillahay to Westby. Westby from 18 feet away drains the jumper. And Kayla Westby's been a little bit quiet, but she's got 5 in the contest. 34-22 Sidney. Kenzie Todd brings it across for Gering. We'll have a foul on, I believe it's on Jordan Schnell. No, it'll be on Reagan Nesbitt. And that will put Mackenzie Todd at the free throw line. Mackenzie has been quiet this afternoon, only 3 points for Mackenzie here in the third quarter. One more for Mackenzie Todd. She drains them both. And the Sidney lead back to 10 with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Girls championship game here in the Western Conference tournament as Westby gets a high screen, goes the corner Dillahay. Dillahay baseline, leaves it for Lily Weiser, who puts it up and in. Weiser, her first points of the game. And the Sidney lead back to a dozen. Camry Lopez bounces in the corner. Cochran, they try to go to Ivy Bruckner. The ball knocked out of bounds. It'll stay at the Gering end. Ashlyn Weinbender back in on the Sidney side. Inbounds toss in comes to Jacelyn Brown. Jacelyn loses the handle in the paint. Ball loose, picked up by Sidney. The Raiders will come the other way. Kayla Westby out front. Finds Weinbender on the right wing, and Weinbender drains a deep three for her first points of the game. And Sidney has opened up a 39-24 lead here in the third quarter. Jacelyn Brown, she'll take it into the paint. Foul away from the ball. And that'll put Jacelyn Brown at the free throw line. Weinbender picks up her third personal foul. Minute 59 left her in the third quarter. Jacelyn's first free throw off.
Into the game for Sidney, Ryan Dillahay.
Dillahay back in for Sidney. One more for Jacelyn Brown. Jacelyn splits the pair. It's been a quiet afternoon for her. She's got 3 points. 39-25 Sidney. Here's Dillahay driving left side. Scoop shot doesn't go. Lily Weiser with the rebound. She'll give it up to Westby. Her shot doesn't go. And a foul on the rebound. And the foul looks to be on Sidney's Lily Weiser. That'll be her first.
Lily Weiser, her
5 team fouls on Sidney. We walk to the Gering end of the court. Well, Jacelyn Brown will shoot free throws.
Jacelyn Brown.
We said Jacelyn held scoreless yesterday in the loss to Scotts Bluff. In 2 of the 3 meetings between those two teams, Jacelyn's been held scoreless. She had 17 the last time these two teams met up. They're checking out J.C. Cochran at the free throw line. First one comes up just a little bit short. Lyrica Stands checking in for the first time, a 5'8" freshman. J.C. makes 1 out of 2. 39-26 as we count it down. A minute 41 left here in the third quarter. Dillahay, left side with it, gets it to Westby. Kayla, back to Dillahay. Dillahay in the paint, and she's fouled on her way to the basket. And the foul will be on Lopez as she picks up her second. And this game just, at least to me, seems like it really hasn't had a lot of flow by either side. Dillahay with the first make. 40-26, second one doesn't go. Ivy Bruckner gets it ahead. Camry Lopez tried to dump it down low to Todd, and it's knocked out of bounds. Keep it at the Gering end. Todd to trigger it in. Lyrica Stands, the freshman, into the ball game. The pass from Cochran to Todd, back to Todd to Lopez for 3. That's off the front iron. It goes out of bounds. Ivy Bruckner not able to get there in time.
Jeff, there was a quick stretch right as this third quarter started. Gering got the first basket. Then they forced a turnover. Or no, they got the bucket, missed the free throw, got the ball back, and missed a shot. And they had it to Cochran. Would have been a point-blank shot, but she fumbled it away out of bounds. And really since then, Sidney's been in control.
Black on the dish to Weinbender. Doesn't go. Long down court pass. Camry Lopez. Ivy Bruckner has it knocked out of her hands by Westby.
That's another thing that this Sidney pressure can do is ball handlers feel the need to get rid of it, and then it winds up in people's hands that are just not used to having it on certain spots of the floor, and we've seen that multiple times today for Gering also.
Toss in comes to J.C. Cochran, bounces down low to Bruckner, and it's knocked away. Gering will inbound it.
Into the game for Sidney.
Checking in, Jordan Schnell for Sidney. Here's the inbounds to Cochran. That's knocked away. It's loose on the floor. Jump ball will give it to Sidney. So Sidney will have it. They have a 14-point lead here with 43 seconds left in the third quarter. Schnell picks up her dribble at the free throw line. Looks, finds Misigatis. Nesbitt bounces it inside. Zoe Chris, or check that to Weiser, and the three ball from Ryland Misigatis.
For Ryland Misigatis.
43-26. Ball turned over at the Gering end. Black to Weinbender, or check that to Misigatis. That doesn't go. Nesbitt with the offensive board. She's fouled on the putback.
Fouls on number 22.
And foul on Ivy Bruckner.
Your first Gering fifth.
Do you have 43-26?
Should be.
Nesbitt misses the first free throw. Second one off the mark. Cochran runs down the rebound. It's stolen away from her. It's loose on the floor. JC picks it up, gets it to Bruckner, but Gering won't get off a shot before the end of the third quarter. Scoreboard reads it at 40-26. We'll go with that score as we head into the fourth quarter. Sidney on top on the West Coast scoreboard.
Basketball tournament on KNEB.TV is brought to you by Wesco, Papa Murphy's, Team Auto Center, Riverstone Bank, and Advantage Chiropractic.
Sleep in Gering is ready to help you wake up feeling refreshed. Dr. Brittany Meyer provides consultation for both children and adults to identify sleep disorders such as sleep apnea, insomnia, periodic limb movement, and more. Dr. Meyer and her nurse practitioner manage treatment with follow-ups using in-person office visits and telemedicine to navigate insurance requirements. No referral is necessary. Sweet Dreams Sleep Services. Better sleep, better health.
Well,
So we go to the fourth quarter. Both Chris and I have 43-26.
Now, I hate to be wrong, Jeff.
Wouldn't be the first time I've been wrong. Now the scoreboard goes off. I think we're having some problems across the way with the scoreboard. But we had a three from Ryland Misigatis in the third quarter, and it was 40-26 at that point. So we've got a little stoppage in the action before we start this fourth and final quarter.
Jeff, we talked beforehand about the turnovers Gering committed yesterday, even in a 10-point win. And I've got them for 22 unofficially here through three quarters today. And for Gering to have a chance to win this game, that number was going to have to be under 20, and they're over that number with still 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, obviously against a team like Sidney, you can't turn it over that many times, even though they had about that many yesterday, still able to come away with the win. But they've just, I don't know if it's tired legs on the Gering side. I mean, both these teams have played 3 games in 3 days, but I'm sure Gering expended a lot of energy yesterday getting that win over Scotts Bluff, as we continue to wait for the scoreboard to become operational again.
Sidney's had 9 players score in the game today also.
And I think it's been interesting. We made that point where usually the substitution pattern is 5 in, 5 out, but it seems like in the second half of this one, or even into the second quarter, it seems like it's 1 or 2 players coming in and then another 2, and they're taking those 2 out, and it almost seems like the same substitution pattern, but just not 5 at a time for Sidney.
Yeah, Tyler Shaw probably, as a head coach, wanting to make sure he starts to, because at some point this year you're going to get in those games. If you're Sidney, you're going to be in those big games. You're going to need your best 5 on the floor and not just your regular, hey, it's this Friday or Saturday night regional play, let's get all 11 in the game. And I think we're seeing that switch a little bit here today for Coach Shaw, 19th year as the head coach at Sidney. Well, we should probably take a break here while they work on the scoreboard.
Yeah, let's do that.
Coverage of the 2025 Western Conference Basketball Tournament on KNEB.TV is brought to you by Legacy Co-op, Bunkhouse Trailer Sales, WNCC, Russell's Automotive, and Reds.
Season on, I press them again. It's just really satisfying seeing how beautiful they turn out. Quite honestly, when I'm on the grill, we should really be charging double with the quality and love that I put into them.
They have got the scoreboard issue fixed, and we are underway here in the fourth quarter. A shot by Kiera Bard for Gering doesn't go, and Sidney with their first opportunity. And driving to the basket and scoring is Kiera Schrader. And Sidney gets on the board first here in this fourth quarter. These two teams will meet up again this coming Friday night down in Sidney. Pull-up jumper, Camry Lopez, hard off the glass. Kiera Bard, her putback blocked. Sidney comes away with it. Westby up the floor ahead. Schrader, left side, layup falls for Schrader. Schrader, two quick baskets to start this fourth quarter. And Sidney goes up 47-26. Kayla Westby with the foul on Mackenzie Todd.
That last basket by Sidney probably goes unnoticed, but the way Westby dribbled herself into position to make that outlet pass to a streaking Kiera Schrader, just a heads-up play, smart player, Kayla Westby.
Gering with it, Jacelyn Brown out front, picks up her dribble. She finds Mackenzie Todd, one-hand pass in the corner to Bard. Down low, Cochran. JC puts up the shot. It doesn't go. And battling for the rebound, Jacelyn Brown called for the foul.
Fouls on number 11, Jacelyn Brown.
It's a 21-point Sidney lead here in the fourth quarter. Sidney with it. Gering with pressure. Carly Black with it. Nobody back for Gering, and Carly Black all the way to the basket. She lays it up and in. The last three baskets for Sidney in this fourth quarter have come pretty easily. Lopez, Todd, Brown, Cochran, and Bard on the floor for Gering. Jacelyn out front on the dribble. Dishes into the corner. Mackenzie Todd for three. And Mackenzie, her first three-pointer of the game, to give her 7. Sidney by 20. Traveling called on Kayla Westby. And do we have a warning on Kayla Westby? Is that what I kind of heard the official say?
Yeah, I think he wanted the ball maybe thrown more towards his direction than just thrown over the scorer's table. I don't know if she traveled, to be honest.
Gering with it. Lopez on the dribble, bounces to Cochran. Cochran leaves in the corner for Jacelyn Brown. Jacelyn into the paint, travels with the ball. Wasn't able to come to a complete stop. And give it right back to Sidney. Gering with pressure. Dillahay. Dillahay tries to avoid the double team, gets it to Westby. Looks down low. It's Owe Christensen was there. The pass goes out of bounds. But keep it at the Sidney end. Westby into Schrader, and Schrader fouled on the shot by J.C. Cochran. That'll be 2 on J.C.
Westby grabbed the ball from the bleachers and made a beeline to the official and had 2 hands on it, just set it in the lap.
Schrader with 9 in the game, make it 10 now as she drains the first free throw. Jordan Schnell into the Sidney lineup. Schrader's second one off the mark, but Christensen comes out of there with the rebound. They give it to Westby just inside the free throw line and shot off the mark. Carly Black runs it down, and Schrader on the offensive rebound putback, and she's fouled. And this will be 2 quick ones on J.C. Cochran. That she picks up her third. And I think we've got some tired legs out there on the Gering side right now.
Schrader for Sidney's picked up her game in a big-time way here in this fourth quarter. I know she's missed a couple here at the line in a row, but running the floor, she's finished at the rim and hit the glass.
Second one rolls off, and Cochran comes down with the rebound for Gering. Jason Brown into the offensive end for Gering. Picked up out front by Schnell. She'll hand it to Mackenzie Todd. Todd on the dribble, bounces to Jason Brown. Her pull-up jumper won't fall. Rebound fought for. It'll stay at the Gering end. Ashlyn Weinbender checking in. Kiera Schrader will check out. 5:01 left in the game. 50-29, Sidney in control. Lopez tries to get it to Todd, and the pass low, loose, picked up by Sidney. Westby on the run out, and Westby lays it up and in. Gering with it. Ball's knocked out of her hand by Sidney. And Reagan Nesbitt back into the Sidney lineup. Ivy Bruckner checking in for Gering for J.C. Cochran. Jason Brown with it, takes it left side, puts up the off-balance shot that doesn't fall. And I think we're experiencing a little bit of frustration from Jason Brown in this one, trying to kind of take things into her own hands there and putting up some not so good shot selections. Here's Camry Lopez's baseline jumper that doesn't fall.
And even some over-dribbling at times, too.
At the Sidney end, very quickly, Carly Black puts it up and in. And the Sidney lead grows to 54-29. Brown out front. Here's Camry Lopez, a pull-up jumper from 18. That rolls in for Camry Lopez. That'll be her first points of the game. At the Sidney end, nobody got back. They find Weinbender, but Weinbender misses the easy layup. Taylor Springer checking in for Sidney. And the Raiders will inbound it underneath their own basket. Springer gets it to Jordan Schnell. Schnell into the paint from 10 feet away. That one falls off. Jason Brown runs down the rebound. Quickly ahead, Camry Lopez. Her layup doesn't go, but she's fouled on the shot. She'll go to the line to shoot 2. So Camry Lopez will step to the free throw line. She will shoot 2 as the foul was on Sidney's Jordan Schnell. That'll be her second.
Jeff, one thing I've noticed here the last few days, high school kids have a higher propensity these days for tattoos than they did when I was growing up.
Second one off the mark by Camry Lopez. So we count it down in the fourth quarter. Sidney comfortably on top. Schnell picks up her dribble out front, but works it down low to Nesbitt. She can't score it. And it goes out of bounds. It will be Gering ball. Jason Brown on the dribble out front. Goes to the left side to Mackenzie Todd, and Mackenzie loses the handle. Turns the ball over. And give it right back to Sidney. Schnell into the front court as we near 3 minutes in the game. Springer takes it left side, goes into the corner. Shot goes up, air ball. But Kiara Schrader there. And the ball will go over to Gering. Both teams a little bit out of sorts here in this fourth quarter. Camry Lopez with the 3 ball, that's short. Long rebound down to Taylor Springer. She's trapped in the corner. And Tyler Shaw calls a quick 30-second timeout. We'll keep it right here with 2 minutes and 45 seconds left in the game. I think we've got a good one coming up in the boys championship game. Sidney and Scotts Bluff. So stay with us for that one. We'll have that one on 107.3 The Trail, and of course on our KNEB.TV platforms on Allo Channel 15, Mobius Channel 1500, and the KNEB YouTube channel.
Was scheduled for 3:30. We're going to be a little bit later than that, but all things considered, the fourth game of 4 on a full day here at the Palace, staying pretty good in terms of being on schedule. Never going to hit that fourth game right on time, but I mean, the minute the buzzer sounds, there's 15 minutes on the clock, and the next groups are out on the floor to warm up. So good job here at the college by everyone involved.
On the inbound, Sidney with it. Schnell has it knocked away from behind by Mackenzie Todd. And Mackenzie will bring it across herself. Calls Brown, and Brown on the feed to Jason Brown, and Jason lays it up and in. Sidney with a 20-point advantage. Taylor Springer drives, kicks into the corner. Weinbender misses everything, but Bard trying to get a hand on it. She was the last to touch it. It'll stay with Sidney. Ashley Swan checking into the Gering lineup for the first time today. Sidney will trigger it in baseline, and they find Jordan Schnell. And Schnell puts it up and in. Bard with it at the free throw line, travels with the ball, was looking to kick it baseline. Nobody was there. She didn't throw it away, but still turned it over with the travel. Sidney slowing things down. Schnell's going to walk it into the offensive end. Jason Brown gets a hand in there, knocks it into the backcourt. Still hounding Schnell. They'll get it ahead to Nesbitt. Nesbitt to the right side on the dribble. Here's a 3 ball from Springer. And that misses everything and goes out of bounds. And it'll be Gering ball. 90 seconds left in this one. Camry Lopez with the ball for Gering. Takes it to the right side, and she's tied up. Possession arrow. We'll give it to Sidney.
Sidney basketball.
So Sidney will come away with the girls' championship. And for Gering, second place is nothing to hang your head about in this Western Conference tournament. As Jason Brown steals the ball away. And then she's fouled by Weinbender. Third team foul on Sidney. Brown with it. Drives into the paint, puts up the shot off the back iron, doesn't go. Jacelyn gets it right back. She'll throw up another shot off the glass and in for Jacelyn Brown. Sidney lead now 20. Missigatis drives baseline, puts up the easy shot off the glass for the sophomore, and she's got 7. And 39 seconds left in the game. 58-36, ball stolen away by Sidney. Get it ahead to Missigatis on the run out, and Missigatis lays it up and in. 60-36, Sidney. So Gering will go to 10-7 on the year. Sidney improves their record to 15-4 as Brown fouled on the shot attempt. And the Sidney girls will claim the championship on the girls' side. 14 seconds left. Foul was on Reagan Nesbitt.
The free throw line for Gering, Jacelyn Brown.
Brown now with 8. As Jacelyn drains them both. And after a slow start, Jacelyn with 9 in the game. And Sidney will dribble it out. Nesbitt out front. And the Sidney Red Raiders will claim the Western Conference Tournament Girls Championship as they defeat Gering. 60-38 is your final score. We'll take a break. We will come back and wrap this one up on the girls' championship game as Sidney defeats Gering 60-38 on the West Coast scoreboard.
Western Conference Basketball Tournament on KNEB.TV is brought to you by Consumers Cooperative Federal Credit Union, Western Nebraska Regional Airport, Regional West, and Pipeworks Plumbing. Coverage of the 2025 Western Conference Basketball Tournament on KNEB.TV is brought to you by Allo, A. Elliott Law, Travis Hawk Shelter Insurance, Dustin White Irrigation, and B&C Steel.
Welcome to Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. Whether you're a wine enthusiast, a whiskey sommelier, a tequila connoisseur, or you just love your beer, Kelly's has the best selection of what you're looking for. Family owned and operated since 1946 and right on 27th Street in Scottsbluff. Come see us today at Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. And remember to be a good neighbor. Don't drink and drive. Kelly's Liquor, West 27th Street in Scottsbluff.
Congratulations to Sidney.
Second place here in this Western Conference tournament as they lose in the championship game to Sidney. 60-38 was your final score here tonight, and really it's kind of a back and forth game throughout the first half of this one, but Sidney goes on a 6-0 run to end the first half, and from then on they opened up leads of as many as 12 points, and opened up even larger leads in the fourth quarter, and they come away with the 60-38 win. Take a look at our final numbers. As always, those are brought to you by Dr. Levi Bowen at Advantage Chiropractic. And leading the way for Sidney, and anything that doesn't jive, let me know, Chris. I had Kiara Schrader leading the way with 10 points for Sidney, 9 points for Ryland Missigatis. I had Reagan Nesbitt with 11. 2 points for Lily Weiser, 7 for Kayla Westby and Ryan Dillahay, 6 points for Carly Black and Jordan Schnell, and Ashlyn Weinbender with a 3 for Sidney. On the Gering side of the ledger, Kiera Bard, 10 points, the only Gering player in double figures. 9 for Jacelyn Brown, Mackenzie Todd with 7. 6 points for Ivy Bruckner off the bench, and 3 points each for Camry Lopez and JC Cochran. And I think some tired legs on really both sides, but I think it showed a little bit more on the Gering side.
Yep, no doubt, more depth for Sidney, more big game experience, but you said it, nothing to hang your head about if you're Gering and head coach Brittany Macias going 2-1, get to the title game this weekend, and probably learn some lessons today against this Sidney team for what they hope would be a rematch possibly. Well, they'll see him again next weekend, but also moving forward. It gets tricky when you have to play a team like 4 times in the regular season, and that looks like that could be the case for these two teams moving forward. We know the Gering boys and Scottsbluff boys probably going to get together 4 times, so that happens quite a bit out here in the Panhandle, but today really Sidney leaving no doubt.
Yeah, definitely, as they go to 15-4 on the year, and Gering 10-7. So both the teams on the floor for the boys championship game, and so we're going to take a little bit of a break, and we'll come back with the boys championship game as Scottsbluff takes on Sydney. Once again, your final score: Sidney over Gering. They take the championship on the girls' side, 60-38 on the West Coast scoreboard.